All right, let me say hello to all of my good friends out there in the trading universe. Doug here with Trade with Doug, and I want to begin with a warm hug. Bring it all in, nice and tight, because you're going to need it. I'm coming up with some tough love for you today, and I promise it might come off a little harsh, but I do mean well with it, and I would not do this video if I didn't think I couldn't reach you, if I didn't think I couldn't help you, if I didn't think it was important. I wouldn't waste my time with this garbage, I promise you. But I'm here to help you, and that's what I'm going to do. Now, before I get started, let me make a couple announcements speaking of helping. Every Tuesday after the market closes, live Q&A session with Sylvia Bellrock and I. Bring your stocks, bring your crypto, bring your questions, bring whatever you want. Just bring your heat. I'm there live. Q&A here on YouTube. It's down in the description box. Also, don't forget about the all-new penny pound stocks and crypto live trading, penny stocks and crypto, I should say. Live trading, it's 1 week old, first week 21%. I need not say more, but I do need to say more actually. Let me retrace that statement because it's free. That's right, it's free. I'm not even charging for this. Neither is she. It's just free. Just show up, get the alerts, make a few bucks. It's something that we're giving back to the trading community, just looking to help people. Now, I know you saw the thumbnail. Now you see the description that AMC traders, investors, can I even call them investors? Let's just say apes. We'll just call them apes. That's a better term, right? Are the dumbest investors that I've ever seen in 25 years of doing this. Now, I don't want to just sit here and bash this. I know many of you are already educated on this story, and some of you are AMC apes yourself, and you're going to come in here and say, I'm going to kill this man. I'm going to take him down for hurting my stock. But just hear me out, because I'm not here to bash. I'm here to help, because what we see with AMC has happened to all of us. But the reason I'm bringing up AMC is because it's happened on the largest and most elaborate, exacerbated scale that I've ever seen. But to some degree, each and every one of us has done this in our trading career, and it has destroyed us. It has kept us from being profitable, consistently profitable, and making the type of money that we want to. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Now, let's go back and talk about this here real quick. I'm going to breeze through it because I know most of you already know the story here behind this. There was a lot of people that came in here. I don't even know how this thing got started. I know last year when it came around January, February, we had this explosion of micro cap stocks. We had the GameStop issue. Brings all these people out of the woodwork. They're looking for the next hot thing. And there's a lot of people that bought this thing between $5 and $10. And I got to tell you what, congrats to you for getting in this between $5 and $10 and this bad boy shooting up on you on 72 bucks. Very rarely over 2 decades have I seen something like this that you just bought there and it goes parabolic. Now, we've definitely had things like KBIO, VLTC. There's been a lot of stuff that's done this before, but they've kind of come back a little bit quicker. But here's where I want to go with this. There's a lot of people that came into trading new, and there's a lot of people that became the voice of this stock that were new, that never really understood how trading worked, how the market worked. And as this thing was going up, the key here is no one really had, I'm not saying no one, the majority of these apes never really had an exit strategy. They had an entry strategy, but they never had an exit strategy. So as this thing is going up and they put a few $1,000 in the account and then it turns to maybe 50,000 or 100,000, they've had this life-changing money in their hands, they kind of become a deer in headlights, not knowing if this is going to keep going, how this is supposed to go. So they start turning to these uneducated people for answers that haven't been around the stock market. And they start putting these ridiculous price targets, like it's going to go to 1,000. I'm not selling until 1,000. I'm not selling until 1,500. Now, when you look at that, you have to think of ultimate delusion at this point. You think of what is trading at 1,000. You know, stocks like Shopify, Google, right? Tesla, NVIDIA. I mean, you're talking about stocks that have serious earnings, that are FANG names, that are market leaders. Why would this bankrupt company, this bankrupt theater, or practically bankrupt theater, why would this be trading at a valuation on par with a Facebook or an Apple? Why would it even reach that? That's just silly there in the common sense. But this is not what my point is. What happens here is the obvious. This starts to come down. And since that point, we'll go back to June, it has just constantly gone down and down and down. Now, as this stock has gone down, rather than a majority of these sell this and capitulate on this idea, they begin to create conspiracy theories as to it's the market, it's the dark pools, it's the federal government, it's somebody else is creating this to keep them in the trade. And as this goes further and further, they cannot admit that this is a bad idea, that this is not going to work, but rather than sell, they start creating these safe spaces, right? These safe spaces where they can all go in and talk about positive vibes and just talk about AMC all day long and boot people that have any negativity. And the further this goes down, they continue to just create more and more delusion. Now, I don't even have to say this because I'm not going to give them the time of day here, but if you want some comedy, go to Twitter, put the $ AMC in there. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It gets weirder and weirder and dumber. And honestly, I'd never expect this. This is the most delusional thing I've ever seen. Never imagined I would see anybody this dumb. And unfortunately, there are many people who had, I don't know, maybe 6 figures plus up here. Put a couple of $1,000, made 6 figures plus, and have slowly over the last 8 months watched it melt away. Some have probably mortgaged their homes, and they have probably taken more savings, put family savings, in the hopes that one day this thing may return. Man, they're going to be in a lot of pain because it isn't going to come back in most cases. Now, I don't want to make this a bitch fest about AMC. Here is the story that I want to tell you, because I am personally, and why I'm giving this to you today, is I am guilty of this myself. This is exactly what caused me to blow up my account in 2001, and almost repeat that same stunt in 2003. Some of this I've already talked about, and there are a few things. One of these that we all have sometimes is exits. We seem to be able to find ourselves easily introduced into a trade, or we find an entry into it. But we never really think, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of newer traders never really think, okay, what is my actual exit? What is my end game here? What am I looking for? Because at some point, if you don't take this money and you don't book these profits, it never really existed anyway. So I want to tell you this story real quick. I may have said this before. Why I'm doing this again, I mentioned myself in 2001. When I first started trading in late 99, the market was very similar to this. You bought anything.com, went straight up in the air. I was just one of those typical traders, had no trading experience, walking off the street. I start with like a $30,000 account. It instantly goes to $250,000. This is the height of the dot-coms. Then in 2001, it starts to just drain. Everything is just dumping and dumping and dumping. I don't have an answer for this. So what I do is I turn to what I think is the so-called professionals. Probably very similar to what some of the AMC Apes. They look at these people and they say, these are my leaders. They will guide me. But do they know what they're talking about? They're not. That's not your money, right? Nobody cares about your money like you care. But to make a long story short, I just kept adding all the way down until I eventually blew up. Now, here's where the real problem is. I'm not saying that everybody's going to do that. But if you're trading to make money, think about it. If you're here to trade money, I mean, if you're an investor, you're parking some money there, and when you're 84, you're going to take it out. Don't listen to this video. But for most people that are listening, they're traders. And if you're a trader, your job is to make money. You really don't make money unless you take it out. So in my case, what I learned very early on is it felt good to make $250,000. But I never spent that money. In fact, by the time I closed my account out, it was under $5,000. I gave all of that back. Now, when that was done, after, of course, I was pissed off, I really started to think, I didn't do anything with that money. I never spent that money, right? I never went on a trip. I never did anything to enhance my life. I just let it go. So all it really was in the end, and still is to this day, was a couple of numbers on a piece of paper. It never truly exists unless you have an exit, unless you take profits. It doesn't exist. So if you're a trader and you're wanting to make money, you've got to book profits. You just have to do that. Now, the second part of this is the excuses. I'm just going to write EX because I'm too lazy to write the rest. The reason that we use charts is reality. Charts are real. Price is real. So when you're looking at this at 19 bucks here, 42, this is real. That's actually what it is worth. Now we can point the fingers at all kinds of governments and theories and Goldman Sachs or whatever, but the bottom line, that's what it's worth. That's the going price. And as it goes down, the separation of you thinking what needs to happen and what should happen and what's really happening are two different things. Now, see, I've done this before because when I first started trading, and actually sometimes I still do, you get hooked on a company. You read their financials. You love the story. You buy into it and you marry this stock or you marry this asset. And then when it starts to go sour, you personally can't believe it. It can't be you, right? Like it can't be you. I would say it can't be me. I'm not dumb. I read it. I listened to their earnings. They had record earnings. They made so much money. Everybody shops there. It can't be me. It's the market. I understand. The market doesn't understand. No. It's the wrong way. The market is always right. It's us that are not right. And the further this goes, the more excuses. So as this thing has gone down, safe spaces, really? You need a place to go where everybody can just talk about how much money they're losing all day? That's what they're doing all day, right? Just sitting around talking about losing money, talking about how the world, the man is against them. Ain't nobody against you. You got lucky that you had it from 5 to 72. You should have sold it. You were given everything by the man, right? It is your fault for holding, not dark pools, not governments, right? Again, I've made this mistake, and I think everybody that's listening has made it on some level, maybe not at this magnitude, but certainly has made this type of mistake, continuing to make excuses when the reality is right here. It's right in front of your face. You can't do that, guys, because these companies don't give a damn about you. They're not going to bail you out. When all those people lost money in the financial crisis, like when I lost all my money in the dot-coms, I didn't get a check from the government. I didn't get a check from these companies going, we're sorry, we made bad accounting statements, like the Enrons. They didn't apologize. Certainly AMC CO doesn't give a damn how many apes are out there just only when they want to do offerings and make some more money. So you can't make excuses for this. That's just not going to work. Now, the last I want to talk about today, because there's several things I could go on for hours about this. I'm going to put OPP. Yeah, you know me, for opportunity. One thing that we all do at some point or the other is we just underestimate, I should say, opportunity cost and emotional capital. Okay? Now, I'm not going to make the argument whether some of you think, okay, this thing's going to go back up here. You're going to say, dude, you're wrong. It's going to 100. Okay, maybe it does. Maybe it does. But why would you ride this down from 73 and then all the way back up? Look at all of this opportunity. Look at all of this drama that you've gotten up every day and you've burnt your emotional capital. We all know what that is, right? You get up I'm just stressed out by being in this trade. So stressed out that we have to create safe spaces where we can all talk about it. Like we're all going to go down with the Titanic. It reminds me of those people playing the violin right at the end. Like, well, the boat's going to sink. Let's just keep on playing. We always do this. All of us at some degree, at some point in our career, misinterpret opportunity cost because you could have bought it and sold it and turned around and bought it again and then sold it and then bought it again and continued to make money. Or during the times when it wasn't doing anything at all, just sideways trading, you could have taken that money and invested in something that was moving. So if you're going to be a trader that really wants to make money, that opportunity cost is always there, because if you're like most of us, we have a limited amount of money. And when I say limited, it could be several hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're not big fish with institutional money. We can't sit on stuff and just wait forever, unless really that's our motive. That's what we want to do. But again, we go back to what a trader is and you're trying to make money. You need to have all of your money invested in all of the market at the right times into the right stuff that's moving. You don't have time to screw around with cobweb type assets that don't do anything. So if you think about the typical ape here, what have you done is you have put your money in here and you've watched it expand several thousands of percent. And every day you are watching it deteriorate in front of your face. And rather than take that money and feed your family and buy something, fix your life, invest into something else, create something great for your community, do something positive and powerful with that money, you're creating safe space and bitches about how the government's holding you back from making more. And even if it went to 1,000, how many wouldn't even sell it there? Because if you'd never have that exit strategy, you're never going to profit. You will never, ever profit on anything if you don't have an exit strategy. You'll end up dying and giving the money to somebody else, right? So think about those things. And all of our level guys, we've done that to some degree. We don't have an exit strategy. We neglect profits. We don't have a true end game. And without an end game, we're always going to lose because there never will be enough. Because if it went to 1,000, we'll hold. Maybe it'll go to 2. If it goes to 2, maybe it'll go to 3. Maybe it'll go to 4. There's a lot of people probably, Bitcoin, bought a bunch of them at, $1. Went to 60. Didn't even sell one. Like can you pay yourself a little bit of money? Can you pull a little bit? Buy something with it? Do something with it? Create something with it? Otherwise, it's just numbers on a piece of paper. That's it. You're just a number. Nothing special, right? So you have to have that exit strategy. The other thing is when things go wrong, which they will, you can't be delusional about this stuff. You can't make excuses for companies. The reality is the chart. The reality is this is what it is. It's $19. It was 72. It's not 72 anymore. It's 19. That's where it is. Nobody's conspiring against you. It's just a bankrupt company that's going down. Probably ends up going even lower than this. But no matter how much I say that, it's now a cult. In this cult, no one's going to think that. They're just going to continue to do what they want to do. And the last is that opportunity cost. Think about what a stressful trade of any level, what does a stressful trade do to you? How much capital does it deprive you of? How much emotional capital? You don't want to sit here, trading is hard enough, man. You don't need to put yourself under more punishment. You don't need to be losing sleep over it. If you're losing sleep over trades and you need safe spaces to keep you in something and you need counseling, you're in the wrong stock. That's all there is to it. You're in the wrong spot. Just get out and go. So anyway, guys, that's all I got to say. Remember those things because, again, I'm not coming right after the AMC people. I'm just using it as an example because it's the highest level of exuberance that I've ever seen in my life. But to some degree, even on a tiny scale, we've all made that mistake, myself included, by not having an exit strategy, by not recognizing emotional capital and opportunity cost, and continually making excuses for shitty trades. The reality is you are what your P&L is. And if you want to be successful and you want to stay for a long time, you don't have time to play games. That's not what you're getting paid for. You're here to feed your family and take care of yourself and build a better future for you. Not go down with the ship, man. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, guys. Take care. Trade well, man. I'll talk to you soon.